So I'm having internet problems, obviously. So I'm just gonna go here, and then when I get if I can't hear you, I'll have to jump in and back out, I guess. Did you let Freddie in, Carol?
I didn't catch that.
Did you let Freddie in?
Well, she's in as an attendee, not as a panelist.
All right.
So
can she hear it?
She can hear you. Oh yeah.
She can hear it. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna Tom, you ready? I'm gonna start this meeting.
All right.
And the first thing on the agenda is vote to approve past meeting minutes. That's going to be January and June of last week's minutes. We've had one amendment to it, and I will note that and put it in there. 1 hour on the timer.
Okay, I'll make a motion. You do that.
Wait a minute. What minutes, dates were those?
Yeah, that's in June. I took those minutes. I have those, Tom. They were just emailed to you if you want to read them.
Oh, well, I wasn't there, so it's academic.
Yeah, you don't have to vote for
You
them
guys
anyway.
got it.
I'll second that. I'll second that motion to amend those minutes to 1 hour on the timer. All in favor, just say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
We really should do a roll call so that it documents
I'll
who's
do-
at the meeting.
I'll do a roll call. Dave McGregor,
Aye.
Ed Miato,
Aye.
Michelle Stecker,
Aye.
Patrick McHugh. Aye, that one passes. I will, if you're ready, have a motion to accept the meeting minutes of January and June. Do I have a motion?
I can't do January, Pat, so you might want to keep them separate. I wasn't at that meeting. I'd have
You
to.
weren't
I
at that
wasn't either.
meeting.
I wasn't either.
It's okay because Tom was, I was, and Mr. McGregor and Patrick. I just got the do I have a motion?
Yep. I'll make
Do I have a
that
second?
motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call, Tom?
Aye.
Ed can't do it. Dave?
Aye.
Michelle?
No, I wasn't there.
That's right. Patrick says aye. That passes. I have the tennis guy on here. Did I do the June one, Carol? The June minutes?
You amended the June minutes.
Okay, can I get, I'll accept the motion to approve the June minutes.
I make that.
Motion. A second.
I'll second.
Roll call. Michelle?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
And myself is an aye, so that passes.
Okay. Just for clarification for the future, even though you may not be in attendance at a meeting, you may accept them for filing because you're not talking to the form of the minutes itself. So just in the future, you could have voted to accept those for filing.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay?
Hi, Neil. Thank you for being available. I have Neil here from JG Coffee. We're going to go on the next agenda item, discussion vote on tennis court repair. So I have Neil. Hopefully you guys can hear him. And can you tell us what you saw down there, Neil? I know you went down.
Yeah, I did a site visit last week, like you asked me to, and I did see some small alligator cracking is what we call them. So there are signs that the asphalt is starting to show signs of cracking, which is definitely a little early since it's only been 4 years. You had asked me if it needs to be resurfaced, and I told you typically to resurface a tennis court usually 5 to 7 years, depending on how much play the court gets. Reality is the paints are getting so much better now that you can almost go 7 to 10 years. So we painted it in 2016, and I don't believe it needs to resurface at this time because the texture is still pretty good. There's still sand on there. But, you know, I didn't give you a price to do it as you had asked, but I also giving you a price to do some sealing of the cracks as smell. And that's kind of what I noticed. Probably could use a little bit of a pressure wash, but other than that, I mean, it's not an awful shape, in my opinion. You know.
Okay. I have Ed, who isn't the business that you're in. Ed, what do you feel about the tennis courts down there?
Well, one question I have for Neil is he surprised that it's cracking as much as it's cracking as soon as it's cracking?
I can barely hear him. What did he say?
He said, are you surprised that it's cracking as early as it's cracking?
Yeah. To be honest, the person you may want to talk to is Ethan Daycon, who is the general contractor. When they built these courts, and there were definitely some issues with the paving, we did an extensive amount of repairing of the asphalt where there are areas of concern. And I believe the paver came back to try to address some of the issues. It may have done infrared, I'm not positive, but Ethan Daycon was the general contractor. He can tell you that. But, I mean, the reality is that the quality of asphalt is not what it used to be, so it's surprising that I'm seeing it more and more now in new asphalt courts, and I've seen cracks within 5 years, which I never saw before. So yes.
Why is the quality of asphalt not what it used to be? Did you guys copy that?
I heard you, Tom. Yeah, I don't know. Pat looks like he's having some trouble.
No, yeah, Neil, I know you're here. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Here you
Yeah. Now,
Oh, here,
Tom had
I'm
a question, Pat.
back. Go ahead, Ed. Any other questions for Neil?
Tom had a question as to why is the quality of the asphalt not as good as it used to be?
Why is the quality of asphalt not as good as it used to be, Neil?
That would be more of a paving, a paver question, whether it's the actual, it's the AC content they use. It could be bad, the quality of the actual oil, but that's probably a question you want to ask on actual paver itself. Sub-base preparation never changes, good compaction, 95% compaction or more. Yeah, at least 8 to 12 inches of gravel. That's like a standard that we've had for many, many years, but the actual asphalt itself, it seems like it's not holding up the way it used to be. And it could be just the poor quality of the oil used, but that would definitely be a paver question.
Tom, one thing I can say is I know when we do projects now, we're not allowed to have recycled asphalt in the top coat. So what they call wrap. A lot of times they'll use recycled asphalt in the mix. You're not allowed to use it in the top coat on tennis courts, running tracks, and things that are getting seal coated and surfaced. I'm not sure if that's what they use there or not. I have no idea. I didn't see the spec. I don't know. Another question I have for Neil. If he could just shed some light on the armor flex system that he referred to, but said that it couldn't be used on these small cracks. It only could be used, I guess, on bigger cracks. If he could just shed some light on the subject on how big the cracks have to be.
I heard most of that. Can I just talk about wrap real quick? Is that okay?
Yep.
So we do not allow anything over 2% of wrap. We've had one project where there was wrap used, and what happens is the acrylic coatings will bubble and delaminate because of recycled asphalt. So we don't allow anything over 2%. So I think that's what he was saying. I couldn't really hear, but I believe I heard recycled asphalt. In regards to armor, it's for structural cracks only. A structural crack would be something that cracks all the way through the top coat. So these small hairline cracks are not considered structural cracks in armor. You could use them on, but it is extremely overkill, and at $23 a linear foot, it doesn't make financial sense. Now, when you have multiple hairline cracks, like a spider pattern, you really cannot use armor because you have to cover every crack with tape. That's the first layer of the system. So at this point in time, when you have small cracks, we recommend what's called acrylic crack killer, which only will last one season. It won't re-crack next year, but it will keep the water out for the winter, typically. Now, that being said, with the weather the way it is these winters, we're having very mild winters. If you have a really warm winter day and then a really cold night, it could re-crack. It used to be it would make it through the winter. Now, with the way the winters have been mild, it definitely changes. But I would not recommend armor crack repair on hairline cracks.
All right, so it sounds like that this is going to be a short-term fix and something that we may have to do annually in order to try to keep the water from infiltrating and then freezing and expanding the asphalt. Is that correct?
Yeah, so, we did what we That is correct, but also there were some structural cracks, which I did include in my proposal, but your expansion joints that we did are saw cuts. Those are going to crack every year as well. So those should be resealed every year, or you could do armor on those, but which is a little bit overkill, but the thought behind the saw cutting is it slows down the actual cracking, which it does. It is proven to work, but on structural cracks. But yes, that is correct. It would be an annual thing. I don't even mind giving you guys a bucket of this stuff. And if you wanted someone from the maintenance department to do it every year, like I could give you a bucket. You just use a squeegee. It's pretty easy to install. It's clear, so you don't have to paint it. So there's always that option.
Yeah, let's look at that. Let's look at that option.
How does that, Pat, Neil, how does that affect if we are gonna repaint the court? Do we do the cracks first and then repaint the whole thing? How is this gonna work?
Yeah, if you do the cracks, we always recommend doing the crack repairs first and then doing the surfacing. But if you do, like I said, with the acrylic crack fill on the small cracks, if you seal those and then paint, next year they're going to re-crack, and then if you're going to touch them up, you will see the repairs. I mean, they'll be clear, but you'll see them. So that's always a tough sell. Is as I said, these courts were built in 2016, so they're probably not due for a resurface yet. I know they get a lot of play on the ceiling, but they felt pretty good. But yes, you would have to seal the cracks before you apply the acrylic coatings.
Okay.
So it sounds like you don't recommend us resealing the court at this time, which obviously adds a lot to the cost of the repairs. So you're suggesting we just go in and seal the cracks and the expansion joint and leave it at that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say judging by the texture of the courts, I mean, they're a little dirty, but I would say reseal the expansion joint. That should be an annual thing every year, or the saw cuts and then seal the actual acrylic, seal the actual hairline cracks with acrylic wax filler is what I would recommend. And a few years from now, revisit this, see how the courts look, see if they're still playing, consistently, and see how the paint looks. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Do you recommend that we do not repaint now after we reseal some of the cracks?
I don't think he heard that.
Oh, sorry. Neil, do you think we should hold off on repainting altogether?
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, like I said, they were painted in 2016. It's only been 4 years, and typically it's not until at least 6 to 7 years, 8 years, depending on how much play they get. So I don't think you're due for a resurface. You definitely should seal the cracks, but I think if you go a few more years for sure. Like, I have no idea how much use these courts get, but they felt pretty good,
Not much use, really.
Oh, okay, so that's even better. The way this stuff works is the improvement is then the UV rays, how they're exposed to the sun over and over again. That's gotten a lot better than it used to be. And if they're not getting played on as much, there's sand in the paint, and that usually wears off as you play on the courts. But if there's minimal use and there's still good sand on there, then I think you're in pretty good shape still,
Can the members still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Any other questions for Neil?
Did he provide us a price, Pat, to just pressure wash and then seal the cracks?
Yeah, I was going to say that. So Neil, now that we pare it down, we're not going to resurface it. Can you get me that new quote so I can get that to the town council for their consideration?
Just pressure washing and crack repairs, right?
Is that where we're at?
I couldn't hear him, Pat.
Yeah, so pressure washing, crack repair.
Yeah.
Anything else?
And the expansion joint, he's going to seal the expansion joint.
Seal the expansion joints, Neil.
Yeah, that was destined there. Is there a source of water down there?
Yeah, there is.
Oh, there is? Okay. Good. That was okay. Oh, yeah, I can put together an estimate for you.
Question, Pat, is he gonna do the painting of the court for the
Pickleball?
Yes, also, yeah, we have approval by the town council, Neil, to do that other pickleball court on the far west side.
the single pickleball court?
Yeah, to do the other side. So you can throw that in there too, into the estimate.
Okay, perfect, I'll do that.
And you get down there next week and do it.
Yeah, you wish. No idea.
What will the repair look like, Pat?
I like your enthusiasm.
Anything else for Neil?
Yeah, I just questioned what the repair will look like. Is it going to be? I know one of the tennis players was complaining that there was a stickiness to the surface where they, I guess, a previous repair was made. What will that repair look like? Is it going to be black? Is it going to be sticky? Are they going to touch it up with some of the color coat? What does it end up looking like?
What does the repair look like? If it's just going to be the acrylic crack filler, then last time what happened is the day we sealed them, they were cutting the grass and they blew it all over our repairs and it stuck. So it looks rough. I realize it's not supposed to look like that. So typically it's a clear, it's a clear product. When it goes down, it's blue, but it looks clear when it dries. If we do any of the armor repairs or structural repairs, it's a 3-foot wide patch that will be repainted. That will be repainted the same color as the court, but it would not match perfectly because those colors have been exposed to UV rays for 4 years. So it'll be the same color, but it'll be, a lot brighter. So the armor is a 3-foot wide repair. The acrylic crack fillers are a little small, like 6-inch clear line is all it is.
Will it be sticky, Neil? Because they were complaining about it being sticky.
No, once it dries, it's not supposed to be sticky. Not at all. It's not supposed to be. So.
Anyone else? Any other questions?
Your member of the public, Freddie, has her hand up.
Sure, go ahead. Put it right on, please.
Well, I'm just concerned that, some of those cracks I think are bigger than just hairline. No?
I agree. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard him, Freddie. He does agree. There's some bigger ones than that, and he's going to address those also.
Yeah, those are in the proposal. Yeah.
That'll be in the proposal to do it.
And when does he propose to do this?
Next week.
No, that's not what I heard him say.
I'm going to hang up on you, Pat.
I know he's going to hang up on me.
Yeah.
Any other questions from anyone? All
I mean,
right.
those courts shouldn't be cracking like that in less than 4 years.
I agree 100%.
I mean, that's really.
I think what Neil, and I think when Neil gets off the phone here, we're going to discuss, Neil said that we should discuss the Ethan DePonce who did the paving there. There may have been.
Well, no, he didn't. He was a general contractor, so.
Oh, okay.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I'll just say this. I'm involved in a lot of projects like this where they only call me for the coatings and the footings. And this is what I see. When
You lost him?
We lost your connection. Pat looks frozen on his picture.
Yeah. Pat, can you hear us?
They're 30 years old, and they're 6 years old, I think. So this is not to make you feel any better, but definitely there are municipalities going through. You spend the money, you raise the money to build these courts, and then the quality of the asphalt is just not what it should be, and then you start to see structural cracks within 5 years.
So should you talk to the Cape Cod people and see what their story is? Are they going to support that?
Wait, what is it?
Yeah, Cape Cod wasn't involved in this.
No, the Cape Cod didn't do this project. So DePonce was the general contractor. They subcontracted the paving out. I think
they subbed it out to Lynch, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we have to figure that out. Yeah. Any other questions for Neil? I don't see anything else. Neil, thank you so much for calling and being available tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I'll get working on the proposal.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good night, guys.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Neil.
So, Ed, what do you feel about that conversation?
Staying on the same topic, Pat, we couldn't hear that last part that Neil was talking about, so we really didn't get a sense for what he was saying. From what I can understand, we really need to go back to DePonce and say, the court's only 4 or 5 years old. The asphalt is cracking. There's something wrong there somewhere along the lines, either something it shouldn't be cracking that soon, just as Neil indicated. I know it's nothing to do with him. It's not his fault. He's only applying surfacing to the top of the asphalt. But it seems premature to me that the asphalt would be cracking that soon, as bad as it is too. I mean, it's, you know, there's a number of cracks, as you know. You're the one who showed me them. So I think you should, you know, somebody should contact Dapon as the general contractor. He in turn would probably contact J.H. Lynch, who I think was his paving subcontractor, get him down there to take a look at it and maybe give us some sense as to why, or help us out along the way here. I just think it's kind of premature to have that kind of cracking, in my opinion, and obviously in Neil, who's an expert's opinion, he seemed to suggest that also.
I agree.
All right, I will contact Ethan Dapont, and we'll have him go down. We'll have him go down and take a look at that. Any other questions on this?
There weren't any kind of warranties, huh?
I don't know enough about it to answer that question. Usually, are there warranties, Ed, on tennis courts like this?
Usually, I believe there is. It can vary from engineer to engineer, from firm to firm. But usually, on a project like this, we would have to warranty that for a year anyway. We'd have to check the spec and see if there was any further warranty on any part of that. I don't know. I don't have the spec, so I don't know.
Okay. Any other discussion on this topic? Okay, not seeing any. We'll go on to the next one. Discussion and vote on reserving tennis court days and times. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
We can.
So we have a request from the tennis people on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7.
We lost you, Patrick.
Patrick,
Hello.
you there, Patrick?
Can see him
Yep.
Can you hear me now?
right this
I
moment.
can hear you
yes.
now.
Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me okay now?
Yep.
Yes.
So we have, to reserve the tennis courts, we have Freddie would like to reserve the courts for her group Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7:30 to 9:30. Is that correct, Freddie, 7:30 to 9:30?
That's correct. Yeah.
So we're in phase 2 here in Rhode Island, 15 people or less, 6 feet, social distancing, and no groups. So is this committee ready to reserve courts at this time under those conditions? That's the question.
Pat,
Yep.
this is the same group that has had it reserved in the past, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Same times too.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
7:30, 9:30 is good, Mr. McGregor. Is that right?
Yeah, those are the same times, I think. Yep. So
I think to consider this, to give our vote to reserve it. You know, we're saying to these people, you're adults. You know, you're not going to be congregating more than 15 people, and you're not going to be in the parking lot with a bunch of people. I mean, that's what I would expect from this group.
We
Yeah, I
we
think
would not have 15 people max. We would have 8 max.
Right. So you know, I'm okay with reserving for this group under that understanding. If it comes back and finds out there's a big party down there and everyone's playing tennis and they're having, you know, then we'll have to revoke it.
And we're drinking in the morning. Yep. It's not gonna happen.
I speak for myself only. I will put it up for a vote though when we're done discussing.
Okay.
I think we ought to, the way we ought to approach it is that we will continue to recommend this if they adhere to the current COVID-19 protocols
Absolutely.
by the government. You know,
Yep.
6 feet, masks when appropriate, that sort of thing.
Yep.
And it's on them.
Yep.
Can I just ask you, I get concerned, I'm not playing tennis now, but when you're playing doubles, it can instantly be difficult to be 6 feet apart. People running the net or whatever, so you're gonna wear masks the whole time they're playing? I don't know if that's our recommendation.
No.
But you do, but don't you see that sometimes that 6 foot protocol can easily be breached?
But
I
that's on
suppose
them.
it could, but it's
That's on them.
such a brief time.
You know, I mean, we're not babysitters. It's on them. The protocols are out there. no matter where you are, you go to a store, you go to wherever, you go to a tennis court. The governor has made recommendations, CDC has made recommendations. People have to live their lives and they have to recreate, right?
Right.
I also think if you think of it this way, this is a group that's always the same though, too. You know,
Right.
different,
Right.
you're gonna have a whole bunch of different people coming in and out. So I think that's consistent too, because let's say it's a group of 15, 8 short
Right.
one time, someone the next time, but it's a group that they know that's coming. So I think, you know, obviously when you're playing tennis, there's gonna be 1 or 2 times you're gonna be too close, but you are outside and as long as you're not spitting on each other.
We try not to.
Anyway. No, I just wanted to raise the question.
Good question. I feel comfortable with it. You know, they've done it in the past. It's worked out. So,
Yeah.
I think that's true.
Do we need a motion here?
Any other discussion?
Do we need a motion?
Yeah, I just wonder if there's any more discussion. Don't see any. I will entertain a motion to reserve the tennis courts Monday, Wednesday, Friday to, what's the name of the group, Freddie?
It's the Little Compton Senior Tennis Group.
To reserve the courts Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7:30 to 9:30 for the Little Compton Senior Tennis Club, as long as they adhere to the Rhode Island Department of Health and CDC guidelines.
And what
You'll
is
be
it?
good.
This is from now till when?
Yeah, what's the dates on it? Thank you, Tom. What's the dates on it, Mr. Mack?
I think we've gone to the end of October.
Is that right, Freddie?
Well, yeah, usually from early May till mid-October, thereabouts.
Yeah. Yep.
You wanna pick-
We voted to take down the nets in December this year.
Well, that would be a good thing. That would save the nets. That would give them some life.
That's why we're doing it, Freddie. So
Good. And
So-
we need net ties too. The corners of somebody's taken the net ties off the corner of the nets.
all right.
I'll second that motion, Pat.
Tom, is that you seconding that motion?
Yes, it is.
Okay, any further discussion before we have a roll call, via roll call? We're not seeing any. Tom Grimes,
Aye.
Michelle Stecker,
Aye.
Ed Miato.
Aye.
I'm reading Diane Robinson McGregor. Dave McGregor,
Aye.
that's a few ayes, so that passes unanimous. Okay, so the next one up, and they're not on the Zoom meeting, they've been texting me, not working.
Patrick, did you vote on that?
Yes, he did.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Freddie.
Stay safe.
Did Patrick freeze again?
Is Carol still with me? No.
Yeah, I'm here.
Is that the ID 951-8422-2821?
Oh, hang on, say it again.
951-8422-2821.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the correct number.
And the password 005707.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. Perky's trying to get in to talk about, the next thing on the agenda is the Tuesday, Thursday tennis with Lavinia Gadsden. And they would like to reserve the courts 7:30 to 9:30 on Tuesday, Thursday for their group. She's not in this Zoom
No.
meeting. I don't see her.
She's in here now.
Oh, is Lavinia in here too?
Not Lavinia,
No,
but Perky is.
She's coming.
Hello, Perky.
Hello.
We have just approved Monday, Wednesday, Friday for the Freddie's group. Now we're on to Lavinia's group on Tuesday, Thursday, 7:30 to 9:30. Do you have any information about her group?
Yes, I just spoke with her. She's got 24 people or something, and she'd like to extend it 1 hour, I believe.
24 people, is that what you just said?
Yes.
So that would be over phase 2 of 15.
No, but I mean, if we spread it out into 3 hours, it'd be fine.
Oh, I see. Okay. So what time is she looking for now?
What-
7?
yeah, when do you start? 7 or 7:30?
I think in the past it was 7 to 9:30, just like we did the other group, yeah.
Okay, 7 to 9:30, 9:30 to 11, and 11 to 12:30.
Is
But
this,
I think she's okay with, just seeing if there's people playing at 11, and if they are not, then running into that time frame.
is this
Oh.
pickleball or tennis?
Go ahead, Tom.
Pickleball or tennis?
Tennis.
This is tennis, Tom, on Tuesday, Thursday. This group's been playing how many years now, Perky? 3?
3, I think, yeah.
3 years. And now it seems that they're asking to extend their time until 10:30. Is that what I'm hearing?
To finishing at 11,
11. So they're asking for 7 to 11.
right.
To
So
reserve,
my guess would be, Tom, go ahead, Tom.
to reserve both courts?
Yeah, I believe so. But I'm trying to get her on so I don't have to talk for her.
Okay,
I have her text right here that she just sent me.
she's on right now.
Okay.
All
Hello,
right.
Hello, Lavinia. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. So we're right in the middle of discussing life and death with your request for tennis on Tuesday, Thursday. So tell us about what you would like to do with your group.
All right, so this is our 4th year, and at this point we have 24 people in our group. So what I do is I ask people what are their availability, for each of the days for a month, for instance. And I just put the schedule together last night, and every Tuesday and Thursday we need 4 courts. And that means that I have enough players for 2 courts at 7:30, 2 courts at 9 o'clock, and then sometimes for 10:30. So the good news is we've got a lot of people excited about tennis and using the courts. The risk we have now is that other people will want to play at 9 o'clock. So do I have a good argument that these are tennis players from Little Compton who are using the courts, and we welcome anybody, which we do, to join our group and play with us on a regular basis. Therefore, you would allow us to have a reserved 9 o'clock time as well as the 7:30 time. Ed, what do you think?
I'm okay with it.
Oh, okay.
Really?
It just seems to me that it's very exclusive, and it's people who are here in the summer like to show up. Oh, I'll play tennis, and then it's locked in Tuesday and Thursday, basically till noon. I just
Well,
think that's
Michelle, you
fair.
were part of the group, and you saw that we welcomed everyone. And
Right, but it was till 9:30. It wasn't, and we did kick people off the courts.
We
couple
did?
times. Yes, 2 times people were playing, and we went and they say, "Hey, wait a minute, we have this time." And that was when we had them 7:30 to 9:30.
Mhm.
I just think it's too much having the 7 or 7:30 to noon. I think that's too much.
No, so we're saying from 7:30 to 9 and then 9 to 10:30.
I thought you started at 7.
Well,
to
I
9.
said that infrequently we would need a 10:30 court, but I don't think we should ask for that time as well.
So from what I understand, Lavinia, you're asking 7:30 to 10:30 for your request.
7:30 to 9, 9:30, 9 to 10:30. Yes, 3
And I
hours,
don't-
right, yes.
I'd like to keep these tennis people on here because next on the agenda is going to be discussion about signage on the court regarding time of play, because you brought up we kicked some people off. So I want to talk about that, so don't click off. So
That was one of the stipulations.
right, so we're gonna talk about that next time. So I
Can I just add
think,
one thing before we go, Patrick?
yeah, go ahead.
I just think it's very, very important. Obviously, right now it doesn't affect anything because there's no school in session. Remember how long this is going to go. If it's July and August, once school starts, I don't know what their schedule is. Obviously, as a phys ed person, you'd want to be outside for your phys ed classes, the COVID and all that stuff. So if that's a conflict with the school, remember that we've always given them first choice of times. So we have to keep that in the back of our mind, that that could affect what's going to happen, let's say in September, if they do get back to school.
Lavinia, you understood what he's saying, right? So
Yeah, that's always been the case, that they have priority.
I'm just throwing that out there because, you know, that's a little bit more time than we had approved last year, you know, because we had approved last year from 7:30 to 9:30, whatever it was. So you're asking for basically an extra hour. And I guess, you know, again, it seemed like it worked. It didn't affect too many people that wanted to play on those particular days. And as long as it continues to work that way and everyone's welcome, I have no problem with that. I do have a concern about the school part, though.
So I'll just speak quickly. And we approved the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7:30 to 9:30. And I think we should be consistent with Tuesday, Thursday, 7:30 to 9:30. Obviously, if there's nobody there, you just keep playing. And when they show up, then you need to vacate. That's my own feeling. But we're going to have a vote, and that's why there's votes. So everyone has a vote. Any other further discussion on this one?
Yeah, I have a question. So I think Michelle had pointed out that I guess, Michelle, you were involved in that tennis group, and you kicked people out of the court that came and wanted to play?
We're playing, and we asked them to leave.
What? Michelle, what are you talking about? I mean,
it happened twice.
Politely.
We went up to play, and they were there
at 7:30. There were people playing at 7:30 in the morning.
Yes, there was 2 times. There was 2 single players, 2 different days, and you know we really nicely asked them to leave. This is the sign, and they had no problem with it. They were happy to go. But I just, you know, I don't want to extend that, making it. I just worry about 7:30 to 10:30. So many people come. Tennis courts are a big attraction, especially during COVID. It's one of the few sports you can play. And so I don't know. I'm on the fence about limiting it to 7:30 to 9:30.
Any other comments before we vote on the Tuesday, Thursday request from 7:30 to 10:30? Anything else?
So I'd just like to make a comment.
Sure.
So basically from Monday to Friday, these public courts, both of them, are going to be exclusively reserved for a group in this town and excluded from anyone else to use. That's what we're doing. Ed?
You know, it was a pet peeve of mine, Tom. And the only reason that, quite honestly, that I'm willing to kind of jump on board, and I apologize, I lost my link. So when Lavinia asked me if I was okay with it, I had just gotten back on and I didn't hear the times. I didn't realize it ran till 10:30 at that point. As you know, I've always been opposed to reserving public courts. That's never been something that I think makes sense to me. But that being said, from what I understand, there hadn't been any real opposition to this in the past. Now, I just heard a few minutes ago that Michelle pointed out that they did, for lack of a better term, I guess, kick out some people that wanted to play and were not allowed to play. That concerns me because, again, it's a public court, and you know that's always been my point, that it's a public court, and reserving a public court has been a concern of mine. So I'm a little concerned that they were kicking people out that maybe only wanted to play once that summer.
Michelle, I think you misspoke.
No, it happened twice when I was there. Not last, the year before last. I do think it only affected 4 people, not at the same time, over the course of 3 months, as far as I, saw. So I don't really think that's a major problem. But I kind of see, especially as I said with COVID, it's one of the few activities that anyone can play. So people who are here for the summer, go down to the tennis courts. I mean, it's, I don't know, what else? And then also, Lavinia, as you know, most of your group is not from Little Compton. They're from Westport, aren't they?
There are, out of 25 people, there are 4 people from Westport.
Oh, okay.
Patrick, can I make a concern too again? The more I think about this, I think it is very, very important that we be consistent with all 5 days. Because once we stretch it out again, then you're going to find the Monday, Wednesday, Friday group, they're going to want to stretch out if their numbers get better, bigger, whatever. And remember last year when we were, even a few years ago, when we were discussing all this, basically the prime time to play tennis in the summer, you're looking at 8 to 10 o'clock in the morning because it's more comfortable, less wind, all kinds of things going on. So I'm beginning to think that what we should do is simply approve what we did last year. It worked for them, even in Lavinia's group, that they were able to still play after that time. As long as nobody shows up, they can keep on playing. That's always been the rule. But now you've been there for 2.5 hours. If someone shows up, you have to, let them have their chance to play. And I begin to think that that would be the best way to go. Otherwise, we're going to set a precedent, and then next year we're going to be back making it 4 hours instead of 3, and then it's going to be 5. And because you got to remember now, we're going to be into reserving it for pickleball on a particular night also. So I think it's important that we do make sure that they are public, and I'm comfortable with the same hours that everybody had last year and go from there and see what happens.
Well, you know what I'm thinking would be a good compromise? Right now, it's 7:30 to 9. And if we were allowed to have 7:30 to 9:30, then I could have people play an hour. And then I could have like 4 courts.
Yeah, that's what, and Vinny, that's what we've just approved for Freddie's group. We approved 7 to 9:30.
Oh, okay.
7:30 to 9:30.
Oh, 7:30 to 9:30, I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah, so we've approved
Okay.
that for them. And I think that just keeps it consistent. And
Okay.
I think that's the best way to go at this point in time.
Great.
That's my opinion.
Let me just.
All right, this is great. I had to come up with a solution in my head, which works. So we're good.
Let me just ask this question to the committee quickly. If someone is at the court at 7:30 from the public and they're playing, do we allow them to keep playing until they're done?
No.
Not if we have the sign posted, Patrick. That's the reason we posted the sign last year, because they know that it's there, so they could plan appropriately and vice versa. And from what we understand, there was, Michelle saying there was a couple of instances, but they didn't become involvement. So people just were good about it. If you see the sign, okay, if I'm going to play in the morning, I play from 6:30 to 7:30. They show up, you leave,
Right.
and then you come back in at 10:30 or later, or 9:30, excuse me. And again, that was a time that I thought was really important, because 9:30 might be the time that the school might be using it, depending upon their schedules or whatever. So, I think that worked last year for both groups. So I feel very comfortable that we stick with the 7:30 to 9:30 and go from there.
I have a question. Maybe it's for Carol, because Carol's at the hub of the town hall there. Have there been complaints from anybody, from any people in town saying, hey, the courts are always tied up, we never get to use them? Has that been an issue, Carol?
It hasn't been a major issue. We have had a call here and there, but nothing major to speak of.
Carol, were they about the morning times or just specifically?
Honestly, I can't recall. I just know that there's been a couple of phone calls that, the tennis courts are always busy, and at the time we said, well, they're reserved from this hour to this hour, and, please plan accordingly.
Can I ask you, so other than these times that are being reserved, if someone comes to play at 2 and they play, and at 2:15 people come and say, hey, when are you going to get off the court? So we're giving everybody an hour from when they start to when they finish. Is that right?
That's
Right.
correct. That's the normal protocol for tennis anywhere where you play an hour. And if you've been on an hour and 15 minutes, someone else shows up, it's always been protocol that you, whether it's public or private, even at the golf clubs and stuff, you let those other people get on and play.
So that's on our, that's,
Go ahead.
Lost you, Patrick.
Well, we're
So
waiting for
that's
that.
honor system.
Yeah, it's always
I
been-
just go on the court and I say, when did you start? You have an hour.
Yeah.
They're like, great.
Can we include that on the sign? you know,
We're not there yet, Lavinia. What's the name of your group? Do you have one?
The Little Compton Commons Country Club.
Okay, so the Little Compton
That's a little precious.
Country Club is
LC4. We call ourselves LC4.
would like to reserve the court Tuesday, Thursday in the morning, 7:30 to 9:30. Do I have a motion?
I have one more question if I could ask.
Yes, go ahead.
Lavinia, you mentioned, Michelle had asked, I guess, how many people from Westport, and you mentioned you had 4 out of 25. Are the other 21 people from Little Compton, or are they from other towns also?
Oh, 2 are from Tiverton.
So 19 are from Little Compton?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second. Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle. Any further discussion?
Patrick, would you, I'm getting a lot of interference here.
Yep.
You just give me that motion again for the minutes.
Yes, we're going to make a motion for the tennis group on Tuesday, Thursday from 7:30 to 9:30 to reserve the courts. And obviously that is adhering to the Rhode Island Department of Health and the CDC, 15 people or less.
Gotcha.
And social distancing.
Second by Michelle, was that?
Yeah, Michelle
Yes.
seconded. I don't see any further discussion. I will take a vote via roll call. Michelle Stecker,
Aye.
Dave McGregor,
Aye.
Tom Grimes,
No.
Ed Beato,
Aye.
Patrick McHugh, aye. The motion passes 4-1. Okay, the next thing on our agenda under this topic is reserving the tennis court for pickleball on Tuesday at 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Is that correct, Perky? You're on mute too, by the way, Perky.
Yes, that's true.
Anything else we need to know about this request, Perky?
No,
Do you have, how many in your group? It's tough to tell.
it's tough to tell because it's a true drop-in. It's not a scheduled group. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You just show up. There's no RSVP. There's no scheduling like tennis.
And anyone is
It's
welcome,
wide
Perky?
open to anybody who wants to come in the town or wherever.
What were the hours again? I didn't catch the hours.
Tuesday, 5 to 7 p.m.
And this is both courts? Both
We've
courts?
only used one court in the past because that's all that was lined. But now I understand we have lines coming on both courts, so we could entertain that as well.
Yeah, I think the 5 to 7 request, like last year, if I'm not mistaken, was for one court.
That's right.
So this is a one court.
One court?
1 court, 5 to 7.
Right, and if we get a bunch of people at 5 o'clock that want to play and can fit on 2 courts, we could play on 2 courts and follow the same 1 hour rule that would say at 6 o'clock, tennis players could come in onto 1 court. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Are we prepared to make a motion to reserve the tennis court for pickleball on Tuesday nights from 5 to 7 p.m.? Do I have a motion for that?
I have a comment I'd like to make.
Go ahead.
So one thing is, I'm not concerned. I just wanted to ask you about social distancing, because sometimes people hang out together while they're waiting, because I think each game is like 20 minutes or something, and you kind of round robin in. So you could not enforce it, but remind everybody that they need to social distance.
Right, and we could actually have them outside the court, for an example, not in the court.
But even if they can't really congregate too much outside the court either.
Right, well, it's kind of.
I'm just saying, something to be mindful of, that's all.
Yeah, and we can certainly remind people of that. And we have some other protocols. We bring hand sanitizer. We try to work with the balls. But, again, it's an outside sport. It's you're not always that close together when you're playing. Right. And we're outside.
Yeah.
So, Michelle, the police department is aware of, people congregating at the tennis court. So we let them know when times are reserved so they drive by and, they'll see if there's more people down there and we'll find out.
Yeah,
Well,
I just wanted
they
to,
don't do anything at the basketball court with people playing, so.
Yeah, wow, I just went by, there must have been 15 people on the basketball court.
Yeah, and they're not anywhere near, 6 feet apart.
15 or less would be good over
But
there.
not social distancing.
That's not on the agenda. Not on the agenda tonight. I'd hate to have a violation, open meetings violation.
What?
It's not on the agenda, the basketball court.
Okay. Do I need, so I am concerned, I would like to say that the town hall, maybe Carol could work with this too, is I think that we need to put out the code for the pickleball box, the lock on it, to make sure that if people would like to play at other times during the day, that they're welcome to do that.
I would just off the top of my head, if you want to put a code for box, I'd leave it at the police station. I don't know what Carol's feeling on that because the police station is open 24/7.
Well, Carol, I would like both actually to have it. Carol, are you on this right now?
I am. So
Can you write down 1776 just for a note?
7276, is that what you said?
No, 1776, 4th of July.
Oh, good year.
The bell.
Now, so my question is, you want this technically put out there so that anybody can open that?
Yeah,
What's the point in locking it then?
because people will steal things if
Yeah,
they're
but
not.
if you give them the code, then those same people that will steal will steal.
But generally, the people who are going, I hope the people who are going to play are not going to steal, but people who are not going to play might steal.
Would you make people sign for it or sign in for it?
Could.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. They have to sign in for it. And that would just,
Yeah, you could
Just
get
so
their
we
phone
know.
number, Carol.
So, Perky, I'm going to let you discuss this with Carol.
Okay.
This committee doesn't need to vote on that. I have
All
a
right.
motion to approve.
We lost you.
Patrick.
Geez, Patrick, you stopped talking again.
You're cutting in and out.
Come on back, Pat.
Since he's frozen, I would like to say that
Carol, I can see you trying to talk, but
okay.
can anyone hear me?
Yeah, now we can.
Hear ya.
yeah, we can hear you.
Now, Patrick.
All right,
Oh, it's not the computer, it's the internet.
yeah. I would
Could be the
prefer
computer.
that this committee make a decision on that
Hello?
number being advertised.
I don't know if you folks can hear me or not.
We
but
can.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, that's obvious.
So,
Carol,
yeah.
can I chime in on that?
Yes, please.
Okay. I think
Everyone's
if
talking.
Perky and
Hello?
those guys would what they're trying to do is let people experience the pickleball. I think what we could do is, I would think that it'd be best
Hello?
you at the town hall
I
would
gotta
have
jump out
the
now.
code,
Go back in.
police would have the code, and maybe they could put a
Hello?
little advertisement on their box that says, if you'd like to try this, get the number from the town hall or from the police department and give it a try. That way there, it's not out in the public on the internet.
Okay, I would prefer something like that.
Yeah, that's fine. That's what I was talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with Carol that if you put it on the sign,
No.
It unlocked.
No sign. I wanted it to go through somebody, yeah.
Yeah, well, Perky would simply put down, Ed, that, if you want to try this, you can
Okay.
get the code from the town hall or from the police department.
Okay.
And they know who'd come to get it, so if something's missing, then you can follow it up later. It's like contact tracing.
Got it. We'll put an app out. We'll have an app and be able to follow everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a
Get
good
Patrick
idea.
back yet.
There he is.
Sorry about that. It's my wife says it's the computer. I say it's the internet. So I've made a motion for Tuesday, Thursday pickleball. Do I have a second?
Second,
Any further discussion? We'll do a roll call vote on this one. Ed Mayato,
Yes.
David McGregor,
aye.
Tom Grimes,
Aye.
Michelle Stecker,
Aye.
Patrick McHugh's aye. That's all. That's unanimous. Pickleball goes 5-7. Thank you. And next on the agenda is a discussion and vote on signage on tennis court regarding time of play. Does anyone have in the audience want to talk about time of play and some signage that we want to put up there?
We've discussed in the past, Patrick, that we wanted to put as little as possible. I think we had that discussion last year. We put down the times that we've reserved. Other than that, hopefully that's all you would need. That, you know, people have learned that you play for an hour. If someone shows up, you get off after an hour. We could make a list that would go for a mile, and then you'd be there forever, hanging it on the fence. But at least that's what we've discussed in the past.
What do we have up there now?
Nothing, you guys. There's never been a sign lately.
Well, no, there was a sign for the Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Right.
Right. The sign fell down.
Yeah. And I got some ties to put them back up, hopefully, Perky.
Okay.
All right, so we need something
I'm
like.
looking up tennis court signs on the internet.
We need the sign that says about the hour play.
There is a sign on the tennis court fence that says reserved courts from 7:30 to 9, Monday through Friday.
It fell down.
It fell down. It's not there.
It fell down?
It's on the ground.
Is Lavinia on? Lavinia, did you
Yes.
take a picture of that?
I did take a picture of that.
You took a picture of that, and when that picture had it on the fence, no?
Yeah, let me look at my.
Okay, so is that sufficient enough for this group in the audience that says courts reserved 7 to 9:30? What is it? 7:30 to 9:30, Monday to Friday, per the rec committee. Is that sign enough, or do some people in this meeting feel like there should be more signage?
No, I think it should be on the court wall going in by the entry door.
That's where it is. I guess it fell down.
Okay.
That's where
I
it
think
was.
there needs to be a sign about 1 hour, just in general. You know, for all.
Okay, so that's the question. Does this committee feel, the members of this committee feel, we have, it says reserved 7:30 to 9:30, Monday to Friday per rec committee, and next to it, it says, hey, you can only play for an hour. Once you play for an hour, if someone wants to play, you need to get off. That's the question.
Yes.
I guess, but if you're going to do that, we have to just make sure you word it like play is limited to an hour when
Someone is waiting. Exactly.
while someone else is waiting.
Right.
That's exactly the wording. Repeat.
You don't want to go any further than that. We can add that somehow to the bottom and then go from there.
No, I would have a separate sign that just says, play is limited to an hour when someone is waiting.
That's correct.
I'm of the mind that less is more, and especially in Little Compton. Do we really need another sign? I mean,
Yes.
I think
Yes,
the
you
Monday
do.
through Friday sign is fine. But do we need another 1 hour sign? I mean,
Yes, you do.
How about something vaguer? When people are waiting, please be courteous when people are waiting.
do we have to say that in Little Compton? Do we
Yes,
have?
you do. You do.
You do.
Sad.
Is that ever a problem?
It's two very simple signs. One about the reserved, Monday to Friday, 7:30 to 9:30, and then one sign that says, what did we just say?
Well,
I think we can just say, please be courteous if people are waiting to play.
I don't think it works that way. I think people get.
What was my wording, Perky? What did I just say?
You said.
Has that been a problem?
Play is limited to an hour when someone is waiting.
Yes.
That's very polite.
I think you need a policy.
Let me take a stab at this real quickly. And I'm just guessing here because I can't read people's minds, but my guess is that the members of this committee may not want to vote on a sign without just kind of throwing around wording. If you come back at the next meeting and you really want to have a sign, have the correct wording and we'll vote on that wording. Or, that's just my guess, or we can throw something together and vote on it now. It may pass, it may not.
Lavinia, I think you had the wording.
Yeah, it says play is limited to an hour when people are waiting. What? I'm not sure what to say. When someone is waiting.
I'd like to wait to the next meeting. I just not comfortable with that.
Yeah, let's table this and move on.
I'm happy to have it on the agenda. I have it on the agenda. I'm happy to discuss it. We have discussed it. It's tough. It's tough with the words. I would come back if you people really think that we need that, come back with something that we can vote on. I think that might work better. Unless we want to move forward with a vote tonight, I'm happy to do that. And that doesn't mean that you can't come with a sign next month either.
Okay.
Do I have anyone would like to make a motion to put up a sign about a signage on time of play on the tennis court?
Well, I'd move for Monday to Friday, 7:30 to 9:30, courts of reserve.
We have that sign, don't we?
Yep, that sign is, from what I understand, on the ground.
No, you'll have to change it because we're making a change. It says 7:30 to 9 now.
7:30
No,
to
7:30 to 9. Oh, it does? Oh.
What we'll have to try to do too is then we've approved pickleball, so we should also put pickleball.
Yes.
We'll have to go through the sign company.
That would be good.
Excuse me?
That would be good, and it would also be advertising for pickleball.
And I think, again, as I said, like Thomas said too, I think the best thing to do is let's get that done, get that up, see how things are going, and then go from there. We'll be back in another month. Hopefully then we can have a public meeting instead of one of these crazy things.
Well, but I don't know why the sign needs to reference tennis or pickleball. The courts are just reserved, 5 to 7 on Tuesdays. And the courts are reserved.
Yeah. I think sometimes, Michelle, the reason that's there is because the pickleball nets have to be pulled out so people understand, what's going on. I have no problem with putting pickleball on there. And again, that's become so popular, like Perky just said, maybe more people will get interested. Our whole plan when we decided to do some of this stuff was to get people to use the court because it's not always used. And the more we get to use it, then when you go to ask the town for money, we'll say, yeah, it's being used. There's a number
That's a good idea.
The number of people using it. You go to the town and ask for money, and they say, how many people are playing? And you say 10 on an average week. That's not a good thing. The taxpayer, you don't want to keep putting money into something that's not being used.
Yeah, that's right. Good point.
Okay, I'm prepared to move on from signage until next month.
Yeah, the added sign. I agree.
Okay, the next on the agenda, discussion of maintenance of Hayes Field. I have What's that?
Did we vote pickleball?
Pickleball's voted already. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Discussion of maintenance on Hayes Field. We had a broken pump and a broken pipe. Dave Perry from Lisco is aware of it. I've called him. He is now not answering my phone calls in the past 4 or 5 days. He promises to get down here and fix it. I've called his company. They said they'd give him the message. I have not heard from him. So I will stay on that.
Okay.
Ed, anything you want to add to that?
No, only like we talked about in the past, Pat, when we were on site, we got to get that fixed as soon as possible. We're getting into a dry spell. We had some rain the other day, but I think that the forecasting for the extended future is no rain.
I know.
That being a sand-based field, it tends to dry out pretty quick. Even though at times it's wet, it tends to dry out pretty quick. So I'd say just keep calling him. He kind of promised us that he would be here. I think it was already last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, thank you, Ed. Any further discussion on that one?
Patrick, this is the irrigation company. This is a company.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
And they're not returning your calls?
Not anymore. They were right off the bat. What happened was we went down to turn on the irrigation, the sprinklers, myself and Dave and Ed, and we couldn't do it, and we didn't understand why. So we called up Dave on a Saturday, and he picked the phone right up and said, "Yep, we broke when we blew it out and winterized it. The pump broke and the pipe broke. So it was winter, so we didn't fix it. So we're going to do it in the spring. I forgot to do it. Thank you for calling. We'll have that done next week. No problem." Next week came. He said, "Oh, it's not in yet. It'll be in the next couple of days." I called him a couple of days. You know how it goes. He hasn't returned my call.
All right, Patrick, just for the minutes, the name of that company is?
How do you spell that, Carol? Carol helps me. Is it Lisco, something?
Yeah, I believe it's Lisco. I'd have to look up. Tom, I'll send it to you. I believe
Okay,
it's
if you have it handy,
Lisco.
if not, I can dig it out of the minutes.
Dave Perry is the person who did it.
It is Lisco, Listo.
Okay.
Any further discussion on this one? Okay, the next is the update on Veterans Field sign and relocation of the Nature Conservancy sign. Obviously, this has been going on forever, and I've been dragging my feet. I have made some progress about a sign that will tell the story of Veterans Field, the Peckham Lot, Hayes Field, Jim Wardell Tennis Court, and the Darrell Harvey walking path. I'm working with Marjorie on some good verbiage for it and setting it up. So hopefully next meeting, you'll see a demo of that sign that will go in place of the Conservancy sign. The Conservancy sign will go back to the Conservancy entrance to the Dundry Brook where it was supposed to go. And our sign will go where we voted on it many years ago to go. Yes.
I went down there the other day and I sat there in my car and I looked at the space. I looked at the Nature Conservancy sign and, thought about this. And I think we could put our sign in front of the Nature Conservancy sign. Let them leave their sign there. Don't have them relocate that. So I don't think it's necessary. If we put ours in front of it, it would be a larger sign. It would be one that would encompass the whole area there. And their sign would be behind it. It would be sort of the entrance to Dundry Brook. And, I just seemed to me that we were, if that's where they wanted their sign, let them have their sign there and just try and do it this way. I don't know. I'm just trying to be, find a compromise here.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So we'll discuss it. We have time to discuss that. We'll get the sign going and we'll talk about where we want to put it.
Okay. Yeah. And I think I'll put some stakes or something where I'm thinking that, and I'll take some photos for the next meeting.
Any other discussion on the sign? All right, I'm not seeing any.
Oh, we lost you again, Patrick.
You'll be very excited. I have the wording for the sign.
We're gonna do that next time, Lavinia.
They can hear me.
No, but
Can you hear me?
I've got it nailed. I had to
Can you
do
hear me?
a search on the internet.
Damn, we're just going to adjourn the meeting. Hello?
Are you trying to make a motion?
I can't. I got to leave.
I guess so.
I guess who can make the
Motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn? I'll second it, Tom.
All in favor?
I'm in favor, Michelle.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Roll call.
4 remaining members, all voting aye to adjourn at
Yep.
Good night.
8 p.m.
Sounds good
Carol.
to me.
Thank you
Be
all.
well.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Carol.
Carol. Thanks a
You're
lot.
Carol.
Carol,
Bye,
thank you,
bye.
everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.